You guys can already kind of see what happened. So I'm trying to tell you what's going on, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to be wrapping up the Grand Cherokee. I went ahead, put the transfer case back in, so that's all bolted up. I got the back drive shaft in. Now the front drive shaft is going to need another U-joint. I'll show you what we're working with over here as far as that goes. So the caps to that U-joint came off, so I'm just going to go ahead and replace that. I mean, it's cheap enough, just go to AutoZone and grab another one and throw that in. So I'll replace that U-joint along with fill the transfer case with fluid, check all the other fluids. Might do an oil change now, I haven't decided that yet. We got to pump up all the tires, obviously. The one over here is very flat. They all need to be replaced anyway, so we have new ones on the way. Not a huge deal. So the plan is to get this wrapped up today so we can drive this. And while I do this, Cameron's going to be working on the Wrangler, so that should be wrapped up today as well. Alright, so just got back from AutoZone, picked up a U-joint for that. This U-joint was actually only $12, but I'm pretty sure this is the right one. This drive shaft's not out of this specific model, Grand Cherokee, because it had the CV joints on the end, and those wore out, as you guys know, when you put any kind of lift on these. So I switched it over to the U-joint one, but got that U-joint, so we'll go ahead and replace that one with the new one. And then I also picked up some headlights. Now I did go with like the cheaper option headlights that aren't the white color or the blue color, just because these will be wrapped like a yellow amber color anyway, so the color of the bulb does not really matter. And the expensive ones were like $70 for this, $70 for that, so $140. These were only like $30, $40 per pack, so these were a lot cheaper. So that's the plan for this video. And then I also forgot to pick up the fluid for the transfer case when I was there, so I'll have to run back out and grab that. But by the end of this video, we should be able to take this thing for its first test drive in a couple months. Honestly, it's been quite a while. So let's go ahead and take that U-joint out and replace it with this one. Alright, so I got both caps off the end of here, so we should be able to just pop that thing out. And we'll go ahead and get the other one pressed back in here. And then we'll go ahead and reinstall this drive shaft in the front of the Jeep. Alright, so old U-joint is out, as you guys can see, definitely used. Although the little needle bearings are a little bit messed up. I mean, if I still had the caps, I definitely could have got away with using it. But for $12, might as well replace it. So the new one's in. I'm going to go ahead and grease that once it's installed in the car. So we'll go ahead and install this in the Jeep. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and make sure these are the right bulbs and install these in the headlights. All I have is the high beam and low beam. I believe my turn signal bulbs are still good, so we'll figure that out. If not, like I said earlier, I do have to run back to AutoZone, so it's not a huge deal. So let's go ahead and make sure these are the right bulbs. Alright, so I got the first bulb installed. I wasn't sure which one of these were the high beam and low beam, but they actually both only fit into the one. That was my concern, was they were going to fit in both. But first bulb installed, I'm going to go ahead and install this one on the other side, and then we'll open up the other back and get this side installed. Now that both of those are installed, we'll go ahead and install the other bulbs. Alright, so all the bulbs are installed now, besides like the turn signal ones. I believe those still work. If not, I will go pick up some of those today. But the battery in the Jeep's dead, so let's go ahead and throw the drive shaft in on the front so we have four-wheel drive, and then I'll plug the battery up, charge it, we can make sure the headlights work, Jeep starts, and figure out what we need to do from there so that we can test drive this thing later today. Alright, so I got the drain plug out and I did run into a little issue there. I'm not sure how well the camera's going to zoom in on this. Let's see if it'll focus. There you go. So this one here is the old one. As you guys can see, it kind of rounded off the inside there. even though I was using the correct size bit. And then I got the other one actually off of the old transfer case that we replaced, because I still have that part-wise, everything's laying right over here. So I just went ahead and pulled the plug out of that one. So we'll use that plug when we put everything back in. So now that I got that done, let's go ahead and grab the fluid, fill this up, and then we'll put the new used plug back in and get that all wrapped up. Then we'll go ahead and throw the front drive shaft in. I'm not sure what's going to show up on camera, but as you guys can see, filled up to the hole. It's leaking out a little bit now, so that's how we know it's 100% full with the right amount. Let's go ahead and clean all this up here, and then we'll put the drain plug back in, and we should be good to go with the transfer case, and then we'll go ahead and put the front drive shaft in while we're down here. Alright guys, so I did wrap everything up, all the tires are inflated and everything. It's getting a little dark, so I'm not going to go ahead and finish everything else I had to finish before we do a test drive, so that'll be a whole nother video. But in that video, I do plan on trying to do a pretty sick burnout with this thing. I had a couple things in mind that we're going to give a shot. So make sure you guys watch that video. But like I said, we got the headlights done in this video, transfer case fluid all topped off, drive shaft installed, and then that's where we ran into quite the issue underneath the Jeep. So I'm sitting here trying to tighten. You guys can already kind of see what happened. So I'm trying to tighten down the cross member bolts because I had to lower it down a little bit to get the transfer case, the top bolts out of that. And two of the bolts snapped off. I'm not sure how well it's going to show up on camera, but two of the bolts snapped off. This thing came flying down and like trapped my finger between the rocks and the impact. So I'm going to have to order new hardware for that. I'm just going to replace it all. It's not a huge deal. I'll order that up tonight, get that replaced, and then I'll upload the first drive of this. I'm just going to leave it on charge for a little bit, get everything else figured out, change the engine oil and all that stuff while it's sitting here, and just get it 100% ready to go. But once that hardware's in, it shouldn't be too bad to fix. I'll just jack up the cross member again, get it all lined up, bolted up. And besides that, I believe everything is wrapped up. After this, we'll be taking it off-roading a little bit. Once we go off-roading for a little while, I do want to put a winch on it. Grill insert's coming from ZKD Customs when he gets done with that. I actually have one of those in my Wrangler. We've been working on that a lot today, so I haven't got a ton of time for this. But we got quite a bit done on this. It was just like a lot of little things that needed to be done. And they're all pretty much wrapped up now, besides the cross member, obviously. But once the hardware comes, that'll be finished, and the Jeep will be pretty much ready to go, and I can daily this thing, use that for off-roading for now. And then, like I said in a previous video, plan on really building this throughout the end of this year. My plan is tons. I really want 42s on this, so we're gonna have to make sure we can clear those before we do it. So I can test fit the 40s and make sure that I can clear 40s. See how much extra room I have with the 40s, and from there see how 42s will go. But I have a lot in plan with this. I know Cameron said he'd be down to build this thing, make it pretty cool, and kind of the goal with it is to build one of the coolest Grand Cherokees, if not the coolest Grand Cherokee on YouTube and Instagram. And I know that's a pretty big task, so we have a ton of work in front of us, but I'm down to give it a shot. I definitely think this thing would be a lot cooler of just an off-road build than the Wrangler, because let's be honest, everybody has a Wrangler. Not many people build a Grand Cherokee for some insane off-roading. So thanks for watching this video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.